All right, good morning. Today is a balmy 51 degrees here in Phoenix. It's overcast, rainy weather. I actually love it. We don't get this weather very often, so it's nice to see the change. All right, that aside. Journaling update, experiment, whatever I'm calling it for this channel. 7 days into this journaling experience, and I want to share what actually happened versus what I expected. And here we go. On January 1st, I committed to daily journaling with a specific structure. I set a 15-minute minimum. No skipping. Here's what I thought would happen. I'd feel more clarity, better problem solving, maybe some magical productivity boost. Here's what actually happened. Different story. So as far as week 1, I journaled 4 out of the 7 days. So missing 3 right off the bat was kind of a dumb thing. 2 of them were long golf days, playing with my wife and a bunch of other couples and other friends. So that really was the priority of the day on that one. And then one day I got like this head cold thing and just was completely out of it, brain foggy, and honestly just didn't do it. The other days had a clear priority, and journaling felt like it was overhead rather than helpful. And that's about what? 60 to 70% compliance on week 1. So what actually changed? The journaling didn't make me feel more motivated. It made me notice patterns I wasn't seeing before, though. Problem solving became a little bit more visible. I'd write about the same bottleneck 3 days in a row, never realizing it was the same issue. And again, going back to kind of how I do this process is this morning triage, I call it a brain dump. Wake up, first go to Claude, do a brain dump of stuff that I was on my mind or stuff that I woke up with. Let's prioritize those tasks and then dump those into Zoho projects or other systems so that I can keep track of that legit stuff that needs to be there, and then help me prioritize new stuff with existing stuff. So some of that stuff was the same issue, all right? Like stuff that just kept popping in my head. Like I really need to finish my Google ads and landing pages and thank you pages and conversion code and do all that kind of stuff. And it was like a nagging thing that kept popping up for me. So by day 5, though, I could clearly see time awareness did increase a little bit. I'm more honest about how long things actually take versus how long I think they should take, which I already had a pretty decent idea about that, knowing that I really couldn't accomplish things or as much as I wanted to in a half an hour block. So using the Pomodoro method of 25-minute increments and time block, or trying to set a timer for deep work and doing that at like 50-minute blocks, it is helpful when I turn off all the other distractions and I turn off the ringers and I turn off some of these other things. But there again, there's that realization is that sometimes systems don't work as fast as you want them to. Sometimes I'm working on multiple revisions on code on something. Sometimes it's just revising content, or I'm waiting for a page to refresh or something like that. So sometimes it isn't always my fault. Sometimes it's also just I am extending the process because I'm like, no, this isn't right. This isn't tweak. And I'm not trying to be perfect about it. I just, I want it refined a little bit, and I still want it to be presentable when it's making certain content. I hope that makes sense. I'll break that out in something else maybe. So here's some of the big friction points. The biggest barrier isn't motivation. It's consistency. Some mornings I would journal immediately. Other days I'd get busy and it would slip into the evening. And so there again, like I didn't really create like a morning habit or routine of as far as getting out of bed, grabbing the book. I didn't have it next to me all the time. Sometimes it was across the room. Sometimes it was still my laptop bag or my sling bag or something like that. And then I'd get into this other habit where like, okay, I got to get up and I got to go drink water and I got to go, take my vitamins, pills, and do all that other stuff, walk dogs, and then immediately I just slip right into grab a cup of coffee, sit down, start working on the computer. So that's definitely something that's going to change. The real benefit showed up on the days where I journaled before deep work, though. So where I did set the timer to say, hey, no distractions, turning all the ringers off, let's concentrate on this. And then let me just clear my thoughts and kind of get this on paper first, and then dive right into that session. That's when it seemed to kind of work best for me in that. Pattern recognition did happen a little bit faster in those instances, and the equipment matters. So the journal that I'm using and the setup that I'm trying out for the first 30 days is I just got this booklet here, right? Because it zips up and I can carry pens, highlighters, and a couple other things in there if I need to. And then I decided I had this old Evernote journal that I had used before. So I was like, oh, I'll just try using this one. It's fine. I tried out a couple of different pens. I experimented with it. There's a short video that I included on it where I just kind of tested out different pens sitting outdoor mall, kind of testing different things. But I'm still coming into this is garbage. Whatever pen I'm using, I'm still getting a lot of bleed on these pages, and that really sucks. So here's a good close-up for it. Here's a good close-up for it on this camera. Yeah, kind of sucks. So I'm going to continue using this book for now, but every pen that I've tried bleeds through. And unless I'm using like a cheap Bic pen. And so that's just a physical reminder that's the wrong tools create unnecessary friction. It's not an excuse. It's just an annoyance because when I get to the next page and I'm seeing that I'm bleeding through in other pages, it just kind of sucks. It's not stopping me. I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying it creates friction and it's annoying. So I do need to get a better journal. I'm probably not going to switch to loose paper or anything like that. I just need to get a better journal with better pages. So there's also the carry problem. This book is great and this binder is great, but I'm not going to carry this with me everywhere I go, right? Like it's decent size. If I'm throwing that in my pocket, then I'm not going to carry that type of stuff with me. All right. So I bought the bullet journal Pocketbook specifically so that I could journal throughout the day if something came up in my head. And because this is the size of my wallet and it fits nicely in the pocket, easy to kind of carry with it. But then I have the carry problem that I didn't quite anticipate or figure on. I just haven't figured out a good system for it because then I have to carry the pocketbook, a pen, my wallet, my phone on a regular basis. So, all these little loose things that I keep forgetting to grab into my pocket and throw in. Sounds stupid, but again, I just keep forgetting to bring it with me is what ends up happening. Another friction point is if the system is not effortless, it does not happen. So I realize this is me getting into a groove of things. And once that happens, it will be easier and get better. Just like the other thing I started at the beginning of the year was to join a gym and to start working out. Yes, I am trying to habit stack a bunch of other different things, drinking water and a couple other things. So, little things in place, like if I don't have the water glass next to me as a reminder, if I don't have the water bottle that I'm carrying with me on a regular basis, I know I'm going to be sore probably for the next couple months as I continue to keep working out until the body just kind of gets used to it. It's fighting you initially until you kind of overcome it. The body's just saying, what the frick are you doing to me? And the mind does the same thing, right? If this isn't easy to journal, if I don't make it easy, if I don't set up the right things for it, it doesn't happen. So on the days that I skipped were long golf days with my wife. Journaling felt like overhead, not value. And then the other day I was just sick, not feeling well. Brain was super, super foggy. I was like, this isn't going to be a super productive day anyway. So I opted out of it. So 3 out of the 7 days, I didn't do it at all. All right. When the day has a clear, singular priority, like today, adding reflection just kind of feels forced, right? Like I already know what I have to do as I go through the 3 prompts I created for myself. Like I know what the priority is for today and I know what decisions have to be made today. So like, do I really need to journal about that? So this kind of connects directly to the YouTube channel setup problem that I've been thinking about. I realized I was avoiding journaling on busy days because the setup, finding the journal, getting settled, felt like I had one more task. Same friction I experienced with the video and creating this. If the setup barrier is too high, consistency dies. That's the actual variable, I guess. So 1 week is too short to say that this is life-changing, but here's kind of my working theory on all this. So journaling works, not because it's magical, because it removes the guesswork from problem solving. When you write things down, you can't ignore the patterns. And I've already started to see that in the 4 days that I've actually journaled. So the prompts I started with were number 1, what's the priority today? Number 2, what am I avoiding? And number 3, what decisions need to be made? Mostly, questions 1 and 3 are solid. But question 2, what am I avoiding, doesn't really land consistently. Some days I'm not really avoiding anything. I'm just overloaded. When you have too much on your plate, the issue isn't avoidance, it's a capacity. Okay, I'm keeping these prompts through month 1 to gather more data, but as you can see, question 2 needs some revision for month 2. The goal is to find a question that will force useful reflection, not questions that sometimes feel irrelevant. The real success metric isn't how I feel after journaling. It's measurable change in the decision-making and the problem-solving speed. Week 2 will hopefully test that. So same structure, different timing. If you're thinking about journaling, my honest take, it's not a silver bullet. But if you're struggling to see your own patterns, writing forces you to notice them. And I'll have another update in 7 days for you about this.